Today we're going to talk about laying a foundation. So normally when we talk about laying a foundation, one of the first things I normally think of is like you're laying a foundation for an expert witness, right? We're trying to qualify the expert and show why she is an expert. We're going to say what are the specific things about her that make her qualified and give her that foundation from which she can reliably and honestly state her conclusions. So we believe in what she says. Okay. So that's what I normally think of when I think of laying a foundation. You got to get that base there, but that doesn't apply just to expert witnesses. Of course, that applies to everything we do in the practice of law. When you bring a claim, you've got to lay the foundation and show why your claim is valid. What evidence do you have that meet those elements? And in legal writing, we lay a foundation by laying out the facts and the law. And what we want to do is get the court to agree with our conclusion, right? So we do it IRAC style, right? So issue, rule, analysis, conclusion. The issue is the question, the conclusion is the answer, right? And what happens in between is that analysis, that application of the law to the facts. Whenever I talk to a judge, I always ask, what is a big mistake you see in briefs? I always want to be making improvements, and I always want to be asking, like, what are the judges looking for? What do they see are problems? How do I avoid those problems? How do I make it easier for that judge to rule in my favor? And invariably, it comes down to two things. One, people don't actually ask for what they want or need. And two, they don't say why they need it or why they deserve it. And so we got to make sure we're doing that. We got to give the court what they want, and the easier you make it for the court to rule in your favor, the better, right? So give them as many facts as you can. They're always starving for facts. People assume that judges have seen everything and know what's going on, but they don't, because I'm involved in the case, because I'm like, know all the facts, I know all the evidence. Like, it may seem obvious to me certain things, but it's our job to say what's not obvious to everybody else. We got to fill in those blanks. Okay, so how are we going to do it? We're going to bring, we want the facts and we want the law, and we want to put the law on top of the facts and make a nice delicious thing, like, macaroni and cheese, rice and beans together, they're better, right? Separately, macaroni's fine. Separately, cheese is, more than fine, but you put them together, it's amazing. And the conclusion is happiness. I'm obviously hungry. In analysis, what often happens is you get to a conclusory statement, or you're skipping the why question. You're skipping the reasoning. So I just read this appellate brief in a bankruptcy case I was working on that was literally like rule, conclusion, rule, conclusion, rule, conclude. 4 times. There was 4 issues, 4 questions on appeal, and it was rule, conclusion. The legal analysis part of the brief was like 4 pages long. There was like a long set of facts before that, but like during the legal argument, they never referenced back to any facts, and that blew my mind. That would that's asking the court to do all the work for you, and you don't want that. You don't want the court to have to do the work. Also, this brief did a crazy thing where it was like, as we argued in our summary judgment, conclusion, and then so basically they're looking for the court to go back to the record, dig through the record, find the summary judgment argument, and then come back and apply it, and it's so much work that if I was a justice, oh my gosh, if I was a appellate court justice, I would say, screw you. Why should I do all this work? It's your job to come to me and ask me to review things, and you have to put it in a way that makes it easy and makes it a feasible thing. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about conclusory statements and how to avoid them. And in doing so, I want to do it by analyzing the lyrics of one of my favorite songs of all time, as if it's a legal brief. And the song is, first of all, I can't take credit for this idea all on my own. In fact, I can't take any credit for this idea because it was presented to me by a professor in law school named Professor Striss. Professor Peter Striss, if you're out there, I love you still. I always will. I will never hear this song without thinking of you, and I'm not sure if that makes you happy or not, but there it is. The song is This Is Why I'm Hot. And let's just look at the introduction, right? The introduction of the song is the chorus. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why. This is why. This is why I'm hot. I'm hot because I'm fly. You ain't because you not. This is why. This is why. This is why I'm hot. I mean, it's catchy. It's certainly attention grabbing. Both are things that we want to happen in an introduction, but it doesn't tell us a lot about like what we're going to figure out except, or what is going to be argued in the brief, like except that he's hot and fly. And I mean, he's not hot and fly, he's hot because he's fly, right? So we're trying to figure out the analysis here. That's a conclusory statement. I'm hot because I'm fly. I mean, hot and fly are basically synonyms, right? They mean the same thing. It means like, so you can't be hot because you're hot. Like that doesn't explain anything. Like, why are you hot? Like, is it the temperature warm? What, you know, like what's the reasoning? What are the facts? What are the foundational elements that lead us to the conclusion that this is why I'm hot, right? So then we go in, let's go in with the lyrics here. He talks about, he represents New York, and then he goes around the country and he talks about why everybody in different regions of the country like him. Like in New York, he represents New York. He's gonna help elevate New York to its former status in the rap world, right? He loves Chicago. Wait, what does he say in Shy? People say I'm fly. They like the way I dress. They like my attire. They love how I move crowds from side to side. They ask me how I do it, and simply I reply. So these are the things, this is the actual facts, right? These are the actual foundational elements that lead us to the conclusion that he's hot. Because they like his attire, because they like the way he moves crowds, the way he gets people out of their seats and moving. Like that's the things that make him hot. He's popular, he's fly. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. But the statement, I'm hot because I'm fly, that's a conclusory statement, and you don't want anything like that in your brief. Okay, so what else? What other elements? Okay, so we figured out like he's writing 16 bars, 24 pop, 44 songs. He's like putting out a lot of content, right? So now that makes him, and it's content that people like, and so that's the kind of thing that makes him hot, right? Or I can get you what you need. I'm here, I'm the person who's providing for you. Everybody wants me, I'm in demand. I provide a good service for everybody. So that's why I'm hot. So, right, so we're finally, we get into the meat of it, and we're finally getting somewhere about that tells us the actual why, right? So just the statement, just the chorus, the introduction on its own. This is why I'm hot because I'm fly. And wait, why am I not? Oh, because I ain't because I'm not. Like that's just a conclusory statement. Okay, so what I want for you to do is to never use conclusory statements. Every time you're writing, ask your question. If it's ask yourself whether you're talking about, if you're doing a this is why I'm hot thing. A conclusory statement is the exact opposite of what you want. It's not how you get the court on your side. It's not how you make it easy for the court to rule for you. In fact, you say something like, I'm hot because I'm fly, and the court's gonna say, I'll show you that you're not. The court in response is going to say, you ain't because you not. And while we're at it, let's remove the word clearly from our vocabulary. First thing I do when I get a brief from one of my writers to review to make sure that we're doing good work for people, the first thing I do is Control F clearly. If there's a word clearly, I send it right back to them. Take it out. Make sure you don't have conclusory statements. Make sure you don't have, take out the conclusory statements. Just do it. Don't say clearly. Don't say apparently. Don't say obviously, nothing like that. We don't want to say anything. We don't want to presume that anybody's understanding anything. You say the facts, you say the rules, and you put them together with a nice because word. That because is like the heat that helps melt the cheese onto the macaroni, and it's so delicious. All right, so I didn't really mean for this video to go for 10 minutes, but that's what I've done. So anyways, I'm hot because I'm fly.